Welcome back, guys, to the channel. So, continuing my theme of timeless games. Now, many of you have pointed out that the game Tetris is a timeless game. Now, I would absolutely agree with you. So, yes, Tetris is functionally timeless. It has survived the test of time, but to be honest with you, because my change in taste, I find the gameplay of Tetris to be a little bit boring. You see, that was another thing I wanted to talk about, because a timeless game should survive changes in taste as well, because the games you like as a 5-year-old won't necessarily be the games you like as a 25-year-old. So I think that's another element to this debate as well, because then once again, your tastes as a 25-year-old will not be the same as a 45-year-old. So I wonder, yes, you can say Tetris will survive functionally across decades. Yeah, this is true, yes, fine, but will it survive your change in taste as well? And it seems quite staggering to me, actually, how many different versions of Tetris there are. I mean, in terms of like remastered versions and different skinned versions of Tetris, I mean, how many different variations of Tetris can there possibly be? It's exactly the same thing, and it just seems like a nonsense to me why you'd need to keep redoing it. Now, this begs the rather interesting question, what kind of game can survive changes in taste? An experience in gaming which is timeless and can survive changes in your own maturity. Games I can appreciate now, I can artistically and emotionally and aesthetically appreciate them many decades later. I wonder what type of game is capable of doing that, because if you play horror games as much as I have, you start to demand characters. You want characters, you want meaning, you want storylines, you want emotion. And I think any games which don't contain these elements, it's very, very hard for me to go back to these games which, fine, they functionally survive, but I just have no interest in playing them. So I'm interested to know what kinds of games you played when you were younger, like what kind of genres were you into, and what do you play now, and how do you reflect on your changes in taste in video games? And can you go back to these old games? Can you go back to, say, platformers or whatever games you played in your childhood? I mean, do you play more mature games now? Do you play games with more storyline? Do you play games with more characters? Or have you maintained the same taste from childhood? Do you still play this game or that game, and why is that? And that could be quite interesting to talk about. So please feel free to leave your comments. I'd love to know what you think. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. You can tweet me at the HorrorVG. This is the Horror Video Games, and I'll see you next time.